Welcome back to the Sean Show, everyone. I'm here with George.
Hello.
I'm very excited to have you at the end of the world at Sean's Show. We love celebrating our demise. I hope you're enjoying it. I think this is going to be a very interesting podcast. I want to say that up front. I actually have been wearing a neck brace just in case any of you decide to get a little bit frisky with me. I'm wearing a bulletproof skin-colored neck brace. Okay, so just so you know, that's my prelude to what I'm going to talk about today. Now, there's it's hard to know where to start with this story. Actually, before we get into it, like the show, do all the shit, whatever. Review the show on Spotify. If it's your first time listening, hello. I would not recommend you start with this episode. I would recommend you start with episode 72. Don't start with this one because this one is going to turn you off. Okay, this one you're going to be like, this episode, if it's your first one, is going to make you call police on me and the FBI and ICE, to be honest. So don't start with this. Honestly, everyone listening, just click off the video. Click away right now. Go listen to something else. Okay, this truly do not listen. This one's for me. This episode is really just for my sanity, and this whole show is therapy for me. It has nothing to do with you. Okay, I'm shouting into a void. So before we get into the big story, I want to do something a little light. Okay, and so I want to do something a little light. So here's a new segment on Sean's Show that I want to do. It's called Sean's Career Corner, and what it is you can email me, Sean's Career Corner, which is where I actually, if you go into the corner, you get stabbed in the throat. No, I'm kidding. Sean's Career Corner. If you're struggling, if you are out there, people of the world, if you are struggling to get a job in the eve before fascism, call me now. Email me, seanreillycomedy@gmail.com. It's going to appear on the clip. Or you can call in at 512-368-8177. Give me a call. That's 512-368-8177. Now, if you want career advice, I'll have you know that I am a very accomplished professional and I can help you with your advice. So give me a call, send me a message, and I will give you very real advice that you can apply. We have it up on the screen there, seanreillycomedy@gmail.com. Do not send me death threats, okay? I picked the worst time to, I'm going to talk about Charlie Kirk. Do not send, this is not the, actually, if you want to send me death threats, it's seanshowdeaththreats@gmail.com. So here's it. If you want to send me your resume so I can give you fun, satirical career advice, that's the email and the phone number. If you want to send me death threats, it's Sean Riley Comedy Death Threats or Sean Show Death Threats @gmail.com. A lot of death threats and firings going on. But a lot of people ask me, Sean, you're so good at getting a job. Why, how do you do it? And so if you want advice, I can help you get the job of your dreams. Do you want to work for ICE? I can help you lock down that job at ICE. Okay? I can help you lock down that job working in finance. I'm very good at it. I just the other day I helped this guy. He was like, "Oh, I'm working at Northwestern Mutual. I'm selling life insurance." And I told him, I was like, "You want more clients in the life insurance industry? Go to communities with lots of old people and lie to them, and go and tell them fearmonger about the end, fearmonger about the end of the world, and you can sell more life insurance." So if you want tips like that, give me a call, leave me a voicemail, send me an email, and we will make that a part of the show. All right, we're gonna move on. So the big story. Now, I will start by saying this. The big story, I am so glad that it happened right after I record. I'm very glad that he was shot after the day after I recorded, because if this happened the day before I recorded, then I wouldn't have had the luxury of having a week to absorb the story. Okay, and a lot of people, I think, here's why I want to start with this. The internet, social media have Silicon Valley has created an economy where we are, me included, even the average person, we are incentivized to have a take immediately. Okay? And, there's nothing wrong with like gallows humor and joking about it while his body is warm. I don't think, and I'm not, and again, was he a father and a husband? Yes. But at the same time, I actually don't like, when a story is this big, I actually don't like to have a take immediately, because it's just too big. Like, everyone and their mother has a take on Charlie Kirk getting shot. And I understand the urge to weigh in. Everyone wants to weigh in. And I think it's smart. It's smart to allow everyone to weigh in and kind of absorb and let them make all of the like hacky jokes, like Charlie Kirk leaned left in the end, which is funny. But I'm trying to be nuanced here. This is going, if there's any other, if you listen to this show for no other reason, it's so that you can, it's that you believe that I have nuance in my celebration. Other people, they celebrate and it's very surface level. My celebration of Charlie Kirk's death is nuanced. I'm not celebrating because he died. I'm celebrating because, I'm celebrating because it's fodder for the show. I'm celebrating for different reasons. All right. I mean, I have so many different, there's so much that's happened with this story in a week. So I don't even know. I mean, I think we should just go, maybe we should go, should we go linearly? Should we go start? Should we roll back the clock a week, or should we start now? Maybe it's more fun if we start with today's, with a week has passed, and then do a I don't know, like a fucking, who directed Inception? Like an Inception style Christopher Nolan. What if we did like a Christopher Nolan style, like roll back the clock, and what if we visually follow the bullet from where it is physically right now, and we trace it back to his, entering his neck and then into the shooter's gun. And then maybe that's like that one movie. Lord of War. So this is a deep cut. There's a movie called Lord of War, and Lord of War, the intro to that movie is actually it follows the manufacturing of a bullet from a factory into like South Sudan, into like the AK-47, a kid shooting a fucking So I almost imagine, I almost think of that when I think of, what happened with Charlie Kirk, because this is not a story about Charlie. What's crazy about it is like Charlie Kirk's getting shot isn't even really about him. It's well, obviously it is. Okay, I'll start with this. I'm dancing around how I really feel about this. Now, I'll start with this. There was a post that I saw going around about Charlie Kirk's assassination, and there. Let me read it to you because I copied and pasted it. So it's so the post was, I don't support what happened to Charlie Kirk, but Charlie Kirk supported what happened to Charlie Kirk. Now, I'm just gonna go out on a ledge here that I think that that's unlikely. I think that it's not likely that Charlie Kirk supported himself getting shot in the neck. and his carotid artery pouring blood into the dirt. Now, I get what that's going for. I get that, like, that is this idea that he somehow deserved it, or that the ideas. I understand it. I understand the emotional truth of that statement. The emotional truth of. We'll start here. A lot of people are there's so many. It's so noisy, and I'm not even. See, it's hard for me to even gather my thoughts on it because there's so many people that have a take on it. And then there's people that have a take on the people that have had a take. And then there's me, the subtle, intelligent, nuanced guy. I have a take on the people that have a take on the people that had a take on the assassination. That's my inception for tonight, okay? I'm like 3 layers of takes. I'm 3 layers of criticism abstracted from the initial story. And that really is where we're at as a society, is like, and that's why everyone's going so fucking crazy. You can't open your phone and read on and go to any social media without seeing like 5 layers of abstracted criticism about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and that's what happens when you have a story that's this massive, is it's like, there's so much noise and there's so much, there's so many angles to dissect and read about that it's exhausting. It's exhausting. So with all that being said, you know, the people, you know, the people that are saying that Charlie Kirk deserved this for his opinions, right? Charlie Kirk had a lot of opinions about the Second Amendment, and he's even been quoted saying that a couple gun violence deaths are the cost, a reasonable cost. Or I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said that some deaths due to gun violence are the cost that we need to pay in order to protect and have, the Second Amendment. And people have said that is the, people have pointed to that and said that, oh, well, therefore, Charlie Kirk, this is the only logical outcome. This is just an ironic, poetic ending for a guy that said stuff like that. And, I would agree with that. I would agree that, it's a poetic, ironic ending for this guy. Now, I think that where we just need to be I need to be a little careful is that, we can't, I think it's very difficult because the political right, they already see the left. They already look at us as savages. And I think I've said before that the political spectrum doesn't exist, and I hesitate to even frame it as like a right versus left issue. And that's what's almost this story is almost proof that the political spectrum is like a myth, because his assassin was like a trans Nazi, which is crazy. His assassin was like a groiper. Now, I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that word. I don't know if that's a slur or if saying that word is going to get me on a list. If you're listening and I say the word groip, we should bleep that. Like, that's the G word. You don't say the G word. He was a groiper. Now, as a zillennial, I didn't know what a groiper was, which is actually a green flag for my girlfriend. Anyone? Here's the thing. If you knew what the word groiper was before Charlie Kirk's assassination, then you need to check yourself into a mental hospital, okay? Because the groiper army. Let's start here. Let's throw this up on the screen. Now, again, if this is the show where you get your news, then I feel bad for you. But here's what's interesting about this story. Okay, we'll start here. This is from Newsweek. What is a groiper? It is not a Italian sub that you can get at a deli. A Groyper, what is the Groyper Army? The Groyper Army is a far-right, online-based movement organized around white nationalists and America First advocate Nick Fuentes, friend of the show, Nick Fuentes. According to the ADL, see, here's the thing. It's like here's how hard it is to be unbiased as like a modern, I'm a hypocrite, but like I'm a modern white leftist. And like, supporting. It's crazy to like read this. It's just crazy to read this and try to make sense of it because like I don't like the ADL. So here's some things in this paragraph. Nick Fuentes, don't like him. The ADL, I don't like the ADL. Pepe. I mean, okay. So the Groyper Army. So basically Charlie Kirk was killed by a Groyper soldier who was a farther right than Charlie Kirk himself. That's one of the leading theories, and the other leading theory that I believe is it was Israel. But the leading theory is that that Charlie Kirk was killed in sort of a mimetic fashion. Like this was a ritual. Like Charlie Kirk's assassination could be seen in some light as a 4chan ritual sacrifice. And I know that you're listening to this and you're jacking off and you're like, Sean, keep talking. This is everything I've dreamed of. And I would say that you're sick. You're sick in the head. But so it's, and again, I'm processing this just like you guys are. I'm not smarter than you. I'm seeing all the same TikTok takes. I'm seeing all the people talking about it. I'm reading the same shit that you are. And I'm trying to make sense of it too. Because I don't know. Was it a night? Like, I almost thought of like the Big Lebowski. In the Big Lebowski, when it's like, they're nihilists. At the end of the Big Lebowski, they're like, they're nihilists. I'm like, there's just a bowling. What is that movie even about? They're all bowling. And then suddenly, like these like there's like Russian nihilists. They come and try to kill them. I don't even know what that movie's about. But I almost feel like it's relevant for this because I'm reading about all this shit, and what we need is a guy. Who's that one character from the Big Lebowski? Can we look him up? The veteran. The dude. Not the dude. The guy with the gun who like pulls out a gun in the bowling alley. Can we get Here's what we really need is we need to find out what this guy's name was, and what we really need is yes, this guy. So this is the antidote. Okay, I'm finally getting somewhere with this. The antidote to all of this chaos is this gentleman right here. Let's take a little look. Actually, can we get the scene of him? I love this movie. Can we get the scene where he's like, just look at like the Big Lebowski nihilists. They're nihilists. What we really need, this is the antidote to all of this chaos around the Charlie Kirk story, because there's so much misinformation and there's really truly no way to really like there's really no way to really understand. You don't know. No one knows who to trust. So let's watch this scene, a little bit of this scene. I hope we don't get copyright struck. And this is what we need. Let's watch a little bit of this to set the context. This is the Big Lebowski, one of my favorite movies ever. Let's take a look.
Fucking car.
We want some money, Lebowski.
Yeah.
So.
Otherwise, we kill the girl.
Yeah.
Oh, they're German.
I forgot. Deal, Lebowski.
You don't have the fucking girl, dipshit. We know you never did.
Are these the Nazis, Walter?
No, Donny, these men are nihilists. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Okay. That was actually beautiful. Okay, let's go back 5 seconds And let's watch that again. I want you guys to listen very closely. Maybe you go back to like 23 seconds. So, okay, if you're just listening, let me just set the stage. It's the main characters of The Big Lebowski, and they're like in a parking lot, and there's a car on fire. It's chaotic. And then they're in a confrontation with the German Nihilists. And let's just watch.
No, Donny, these men are nihilists. There's nothing to be afraid of.
There we go. There we go. This is what's going on. We need a guy. What's this guy's name? We got to find this guy's character name. I'm sorry I don't know it. You guys are probably all thinking it. Walter. What's his full name?
Walter Sobchak. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Walter Sobchak. We need I love that. Can we get his photo on the screen too, just so people can have a visual reference? This movie's so good. Okay, what we really need, we need a Walter. What we need right now, okay? And stay with me on this because this is a crazy tangent. What we need right now, with reference to Charlie Kirk's assassination and all the misinformation going around and like all of the chaos, everyone's fighting. What we need is Walter Sobchak, okay? We need John Goodman playing Walter Sobchak to get in front of this story and everyone's fighting. We need Walter to fire his fucking gun in the air and be like, these guys are nihilists. You got nothing to worry about. That's all we need because that's what's going on. People are like, Charlie was killed by Israel. Charlie was killed by a trans Nazi. We need Walter to go, gentlemen, that man is a Nazi. Fuck. We need to go, gentlemen, that man's a nihilist. You got nothing to worry about. You know what? If there's actually on the last episode, I said there's only one genocide I support, and that's the genocide of Burning Man. I actually support two genocides, the other one being nihilists, 4chan nihilists. Genocide them. I'm kidding. I'm joking, of course. Every life is valuable. At this point, I should say, just to be abundantly clear about my position here, human life is, wow, I fucking bombed that sentence. What's the word? Sacred. I'm like searching for the word. That's how you know I don't mean it. I'm like joking about this and Charlie, and I'm just like making horrible jokes about this man's death. And then in the middle of the episode, I'm like, guys, I'm just so we're clear, like human life is sacred is the word I was looking for. Sacred. Human life is sacred. And that is somehow everyone that's doing the Riyadh Comedy Festival. The Riyadh Comedy Festival in Saudi Arabia is coming out of the woodwork and suddenly has woken up and they've all become humanitarians. And I think that's very interesting. I think it's very interesting how many comedians that are on the Riyadh Comedy Festival taking money from a government that chopped up a journalist into little pieces while his fiancée was in the parking lot at the embassy, they have suddenly become humanitarians when it comes to political violence and assassination of people merely invoking their First Amendment right to freedom of expression. And I think that it's just a double standard. You know what? I'm in the Riyadh. I'm in the Riyadh Comedy Festival. That's my big announcement. I'm going to the Riyadh Comedy Festival, which ticket link is in my bio. I will be performing comedy for the Saudi royal family. And at that show, we will be having a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. We will not be having a moment of silence for Jamal Khashoggi. Okay? We will be having a moment of silence for the guy who said that he won't get on a plane if there's a black pilot. We're gonna have a moment of silence for him, but we won't have a moment of silence for the journalist that the government killed, that I'm taking money from. You know, I care about free speech so much that I'm going to go do a comedy festival and get money from a government that killed a journalist. And we're going to have a moment of silence for a podcaster. That's crazy. I'm sorry, but that's crazy. I'm sorry. That's crazy. Okay? It's crazy. If you're doing the Riyadh, I'm sorry, and this is a little inside baseball, we'll move on. But if you're doing the Riyadh Comedy Festival, I don't want to hear a goddamn single motherfucking word from your mouth about the freedom of expression and how killing people for their words is a tragedy. Shut the fuck up. Truly, shut the fuck up. You are taking money from an authoritarian government, and I'm not talking about the United States, although they are bad. We are bad too. We're getting there. Hold your horses. We're getting there. But to weep, there's so many. I'm sorry. I have to talk about this. There are so many comedians that have suddenly paused. You know what? Comedy does not pause. We do not pause criticism. We do not pause critical analysis and the making of funniness just because it's politically inconvenient for you. And that's just something that, you know, if anything, you know, I don't care if 10 people listen to this show. You know that I keep it fucking real because I don't give a fuck about opening for Joe Rogan. I don't give a fuck about being on his show ever. And I'll tell you one thing. I'll keep it fucking real because I don't need your money. I don't need to be in anyone's entourage. My parents are landlords. That's actually a good thing. Liberals listening to this, you're like, oh, he's bad. That's the reason you can trust me, okay? Because I got nothing to lose. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. Isn't that what this is all about? Wait a minute. So you got rich being a comedian, and now suddenly you are limiting what you're joking about? Wait a minute. So you got rich doing comedy and saying that cancel culture was bad. And now this massive story comes out, you know, where it's ripe for material, and suddenly we're all supposed to be humanitarians about it. Suddenly the Charlie Kirk getting shot was like 9/11 for a lot of comedians. It was like, hey, come on, dude. Like, oh, you're gonna lecture me? You're gonna lecture us about what we can joke about? After you did 5 specials about trans people? So you make 5 comedy specials about how trans people are mentally ill. And then Charlie Kirk gets shot and all of a sudden it's time for us to be adults? Come on, dude. Hey. You're not in a good place. Come on, dude. Hey, man. He got shot in front of his wife and kids. Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what. I told you this was going to be a crazy episode. If ever I get shot in front of my girlfriend, I want you to joke about it. That's not an invitation to do that. But this is, we are here. And again, I know this sounds crazy. Like I understand the sentiment of like, celebrating. I understand the sentiment that people that celebrate death, it feels like we are all losing our collective humanity and going fucking crazy. I understand that. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I understand that sentiment. I'm not trying to like piss on this guy's corpse. I'm not happy that he got shot in the neck and died. Okay? I'm not I was not praying every night for Charlie Kirk's death. Okay? That's not how I spend my time or my mental energy. Okay? I was praying maybe once a week. Maybe once a week I was going, "Dear Lord, please send a bullet into his neck in front of his kid." No, I'm kidding. Did I buy an... Now, I didn't do that. I'll tell you what I did do. I did curse him on Etsy. I may have hired a witch on Etsy and hexed Charlie Kirk. Did you see that? Did you see that there were witches on Etsy? I didn't even know there were witches on Etsy. I knew there were bitches on Etsy, but I didn't know there were witches on Etsy. But they were, I actually forgot to link this, George, but it's the Etsy witches Charlie Kirk story. Now, what's crazy about this part of the story is, I guess that there were actual, like, this is from Jezebel. Updates to the Charlie Kirk. So Jezebel put out with this article how they had joked about how Jezebel put out this article where someone from Jezebel supposedly had paid to curse Charlie Kirk. And so I didn't know that the witches had entered the digital age. But hey, this is 2025. You got to make your fucking money. The internet, I just love the idea of these like witches that are into like alchemy and arcane magic being like, "So yeah, I'm on Etsy. So no, yeah, like my revenue is actually growing like 30% month over month. I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I deal in like arcane magic. So like, yeah, like I deal in like arcane hexes, and if you send me a strand of hair of the person you want cursed, it's actually more expensive, but like we can do that." It's interesting. It's interesting to be into arcane magic and also have an online store. It's fun. It's fun. It's a fun. Honestly, I want to be an Etsy warlock. I'm going to go on Etsy. I'm going to make Sean Show Warlock production services. And, if you send me something that the target of the curse owns, I can use that item and curse them and sentence them to a life of anguish. So the context for this is that a bunch of people, I guess there's someone at Jezebel, which is a media company, bought a bunch of curses, and they cursed Charlie Kirk shortly before his assassination. And now a lot of people read this and did the wrong thing, which is they started to believe in magic. That was like that. I'm like, no. What you should see is the decay of our culture. So some people saw that Jezebel had bought Etsy witch curses on Charlie Kirk, and they're like, "Damn, magic is real." No. Hatred is brewing. Magic is not brewing. It's hatred is brewing, okay? But now here's the thing. So before I go any further, I want to be very careful. I want to be careful because people that are speaking out about Charlie Kirk, criticizing him, or worse, which is again was not what I'm doing, is celebrating his death. People that are not mourning Charlie Kirk correctly are being called out online, and in some cases, they are even being reported to their employer, and people are trying to get those people fired from their jobs. Now, here's a news flash. Everything I've said, I've already sent it to my dad, so you can go fuck yourself, okay? Which happens to be my boss, okay? When the moment this so you got nothing on me. The moment this happened, I texted my dad. I was like, "You said that Charlie Kirk got shot," and he's a Republican, so he's like, yeah, it's really sad. And I went like, LMAO, get fucked, loser. So you can't, I'm untouchable. You could shoot me, but I'm untouchable other than my physical body. Okay? That's not what I said. Here's the thing. This is a very sensitive subject because, like, I think it's this story is really indicative of how divided we are as a country. And it's very depressing because there's so much misinformation, and both sides of this story have very good arguments. And that is me giving a little bit of credit to the right here. And that's tough for me to do, but I'm trying to be objective here. It's not crazy to say that no one deserves to die for their opinions. On the surface, just that statement, nobody deserves to die for their opinions. That is a statement that I think a lot of Americans believe. Now, the flip side to that, but where it gets tricky is when you ask a follow-up question, which is, okay, what are your opinions? And here's the thing, even asking, well, what did he believe? Well, he was a dad. Hitler was a dad? And then they go, whoa, you're comparing Charlie Kirk to Hitler? Hey, maybe I am. Hey, bitch, maybe I am. Maybe I am comparing Charlie Kirk. A more accurate comparison will be to Goebbels. I would never compare Charlie Kirk to Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was a charismatic leader who was evil. Charlie Kirk was like Goebbels. He was like Hitler's yes man. He wasn't Hitler. I don't want to give him that much credit. He was Goebbels. He was even more pathetic than Hitler. He was Hitler's yes man. Okay? He was an arm, he was a mouthpiece for the government, and he was an arm of the fascist leadership that we have in America today. And just because he was shot in front of his wife and kids doesn't make that untrue. And Republicans love to talk about the truth and how facts don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. What happened if facts don't care about your feelings? What happened to his pronouns were? That's what the Republican, and that's my issue. Is like no one is coming at this story with an objective, sound, reasonable, nuanced take. People are throwing their values out the window, and they're just like allowing themselves to be captured by their emotion and their passion. And I'm not saying that like that's wrong. It's not wrong to have emotion and passion. There's room for that, obviously. But like if you are condemning people for not memorializing this guy, I want you to just think about like the other stuff that you've defended or laughed at or condoned. And that's all I'm saying is that try to be, I don't even know what the word is. That's how divided we are. No one is even trying to like have a principles-based, a principled kind of view of this. If you think that, here's the thing. I'm not even saying that like there is a correct, quote unquote, correct answer here. If you believe that political violence is never warranted, then yes, you can be sad about Charlie Kirk's assassination. But you also need to be sad about things that are less convenient for you. That's all I'm saying. If you are mourning Charlie Kirk's death, you also have to mourn when people get assassinated on the other side of the aisle. And so they're sure. So that's all I'm saying. Now on the flip side, if you are celebrating his death, or you are not, or you're saying that, in some cases, political violence is warranted if the opinions are reprehensible enough. Now, if you're in that camp, you also need to ask people. I think this Charlie Kirk's death truly, I think, is an opportunity. I'm talking like a CEO right now. Charlie Kirk's death is an opportunity for self-reflection before we enter Q4. Before we go into Q4, we need to reflect. I mean, there's so much to this story. I mean, I'm all over the place today, guys. And you might be wondering, well, where do I stand? I saw the video. I saw the video 1,000 times. I watched it 1,000 times in a row because it takes me a long time to come. All right, no, guys, look, that was bad. Hey, I'm keeping it. Look, would you rather have this? This is me. This is what people should be saying about this story. Okay, I would be saying the same shit if a Democrat was murdered. Okay, again, this is a comedy show. This is FBI. This is a comedy show. FBI, ATF, ICE, CIA. This is NSA. This is a comedy show. But I would joke from a comedy perspective. Just from a merely principled comedic perspective, I would like to believe, and no one really knows until it happens. I'm going to be crazy here. I would like to believe that if AOC was shot, I would be able to make it funny or try to make it funny. Okay? I'm not a fucking shill for the left. Okay? I want to make you laugh. And it makes me sad when people pause. We need comedy. These are the stories that we need comedy for. Now more than ever, we need to make it funny. Now more than ever, we need to make it funny because it is so fucked up and crazy. It is fucked up. It is crazy. The guy got shot in the neck and his carotid artery exploded in front of his wife and kids. That's crazy, bro. So to come out and say, hey, now's not the time to joke about it. Actually, I was joking about it once the bullet left the chamber of the gun. I was in the writer's room. Just like if I was alive I was alive, but I was in kindergarten. If I was a comedian when 9/11 happened, I'd be writing jokes once the first plane hits, I'm in the writer's room. And that's why I want you to rock out with Sean Riley, because I don't give a fuck. Every comedian is such a fucking pussy. Fucking sack up. You guys are pussies. Hey, come on, dude. In front of his wife and kids? Come on, dude. Oh. Is a little video tugging at your heartstrings? Oh. So you listen to his show? Are you sad? Are you scared? Are you scared because the racist guy got shot? Are you scared because you believe some of the same things that he believes? Are you really scared because he got shot? Or are you scared because you see yourself in him? Are you scared are you sad and scared because he got shot? Or are you sad and scared because you think you're next? And that's truly, and I don't want anyone to be next, including me, especially me. But it's people are calling this the Reichstag fire. They're drawing comparisons to the Reichstag fire. And, I am not a student of history. Reichstag fire was the prelude to World War II and the emergence of Nazi Germany. And it was used as a pretext for Hitler and the Nazis to exert control over the country of Germany. Now, people are saying that this is analogous to the Reichstag fire because it is being used. His death is being weaponized by the government. Charlie Kirk's death is being weaponized by the government, and it's being used to exert control over Americans. And that's the tragedy, is that Charlie Kirk getting shot, even if you're like Antifa, you shouldn't be happy that he's dead and he got murdered, because we're all going to lose freedom. We're all going to lose freedom as a result of this. Right, center, left, gay, bi, trans, Christian, atheist, 4chan moderator. We are all losing freedoms because of this. And the only people that win, and I always love to say this, in Latin, cui bono, who benefits? Who benefits from Charlie Kirk's assassination? Peter Thiel comes to mind. The federal government benefits. The people, the administration benefits. They are now allowed to exert more control because, we have to get these terrorist sympathizers. Let's even talk about that. I think I have a video, JD Vance. I think it's the first link. JD Vance is hosting his show. Let's take a look at this because I do want to see. I want to see what JD Vance has to say. So he filled in on his podcast, on Charlie's podcast.
Office in the White House complex, and filling in for somebody who cannot be filled in for, but I'm going to try to do my best. My dear friend, the great Charlie Kirk. The last several days have been extremely hard for our country. They've been hard for me, hard for my family, hard for the countless people in this building who knew and loved Charlie Kirk, and of course, they've been hardest most of all.
And my cock is hard. My cock is rock fucking hard. That's what he should. If he was being honest, here's what he'd say. My cock is hard as a fucking rock right now because we can finally come in with Palantir and surveil all of you fucking Jews. That's what he's saying. That's really what he's saying is, I couldn't be happier. I fucked my wife 12 times yesterday. I fucked my wife 12 times. We were up all night having the hottest, wettest sex because now I'm gonna be president as soon as Trump is. He's next. JD Vance is having the time of his life right now. I wouldn't be surprised if JD Vance ordered the hit. Bravo to you, JD Vance. If you ordered this hit, you were very smart. I would expect nothing less from an ex-venture capitalist. He's JD Vance. Again, doesn't mean I hope I'm not going too far with this, but people always talk about the cunning Jew controlling this small group of cunning elite Jewish pedophiles control the world. I'm telling you guys, I know I look Jewish, but I'm not. So you can trust me. You think I'm not biased. I am not Jewish. But I'm going to defend them here. The cunning, evil, rich, Illuminati Jews, they don't control everything. It's the cunning Christians, the cunning Anglo-Saxon wasp. We need to be I'm guilty. Now I'm turning into the Nick Fuentes of the left. We need to be careful of the cunning wasp. It actually has a ring to it, the cunning wasp. But again, that was a joke. I don't actually believe that I'm a wasp. So I'm not going to generalize about that whole population. What we really need to be careful of is the cunning individual. And the individual that is cunning is our friend JD Vance. Okay? This is a guy that had a career in venture capital that no one knows about. Suddenly, Like, he was in Silicon Valley. This guy is a careerist. And that is what we really need to be scared of more than anything. More than anything, the people that we really must fear and be careful of are people that put career and power above everything else. And I know that that's true of JD Vance because he went into venture capital. And as a guy who wanted a career in venture capital for a while and met some of these people, I can tell you that they're sociopaths. They are psychopaths. They do not think about what the outcome and the there's no self-awareness there. They just think venture capital equals money equals power. And that's what JD Vance thinks. And he has moved on from that and successfully hid it from the public and moved on to politics. Okay? But make no mistake that JD Vance is elated. In private, he is elated that this is the best thing that could have happened to the right. This is the best thing that could have happened for Israel and for the United States Trump administration. So that makes me think, okay, you know, what do I mean? Like it just really makes me think, like, who's responsible? And I'm not going to speculate because, you know, I have the same information that you guys do, but let's not focus on who did it. Let's just focus on, you know, what's going to happen to us as a result of this thing. And let's keep listening to JD Vance because he's on one.
For his darling wife, Erica, and their two beautiful children. The thing is, every single person in this building, we owe something to Charlie. He was a joyful warrior for our country. He loved America. He devoted himself tirelessly to making our country a better place. He was a critical part of getting Donald Trump elected as president, getting me elected as vice president. And so much of our success over the last 7 months is due to his efforts, his staffing, his support, and his friendship. I don't think that I'm alone in saying that Charlie was the smartest political operative I ever met. Everyone knew him as this fearless debater, this guy for his darling wife, Erica.
Political operative? What? You're going to just, in the open, you're going to call him a political operative. Let's not forget the language. The language that they're using, the Department of War. Now it's called the Department of War. Pretty soon, they're going to be like, I just like to thank Mossad for killing Charlie. That is where we're headed. Is they're going to be like, you know, shout out to the Israeli CIA for making this possible. That's where we're going to go. Is they're going to start saying more of, they're going to start using rhetoric that is crazy out in the open to normalize it. JD Vance said that Charlie Kirk is one of the best political operatives. I don't want operatives. How about operatives not good? How about anyone that's described as an operative? I don't want you involved in the government. How about what happened to government for the people, by the people, of the people, if that's what the phrase is? That was never true, but let's keep watching.
Erica, and their two beautiful children. The thing is, every single person in this building, we owe something to Charlie. He was a joyful warrior for our country. He loved America. He devoted himself tirelessly to making our country a better place. He was a critical part of getting Donald Trump elected as president, getting me elected as vice president.
That's why you shot him.
So much of our success over the last 7 months is due to his efforts.
And we didn't need him anymore.
Staffing, his support, his friendship.
And he was of no more use to us.
I don't think that I'm alone in saying
so
that
I
Charlie
shot him.
Was the smartest political operative I ever met. Everyone knew him as this fearless debater, this guy who would take the conservative message into hostile places and inspire younger generations to have courage.
Utah?
One thing that's hit a lot of those young Americans over the last week was how Charlie was there for them when others were not. When they were afraid to speak their minds, when they were afraid of what a professor would say, when they were afraid that they would be shouted down by their peers, Charlie was there, showing them that they could be courageous and that they could be bold.
Openly racist.
Charlie was a visionary.
Racist.
He was a luminary. He brought together people. He didn't just teach people how to speak. He didn't just teach people what to say. He didn't just teach people they could actually speak their mind on campus. He created a whole social network for an entire generation of young people. I know people who met their husband, who met their wife, who met the best man at their wedding at a TPUSA event. Because as you guys all know, it's not just about speaking our mind, it's about making friends along the way and creating that support network that won an election and that staffed the current federal government. Of course, we have to make sure that the killer is brought to justice, and importantly, we have to talk about this incredibly destructive movement of left-wing extremism that has grown up over the last few years, and I believe is part of the reason why Charlie was killed by an assassin's bullet. We're going to talk about how to dismantle that and how to bring real unity that can only come when we tell the truth and everybody knows that they can speak their mind about the issues of the day without being cut down by a murderer's gun. We're going to talk about all of those things with friends of Charlie, with people in the administration.
So, the first thing I want to say is I'm right again. Everything is podcasts. Everything is podcasts now. That's why I started a podcast, because everything is podcasts. Let me say it again. Everything is podcasts. The reason why Charlie Kirk is getting a posthumous Medal of Freedom is because his podcast numbers were huge. I would, if you shoot me in the neck and I die, I'm not getting a Medal of Freedom. I'm going to Gitmo. They're throwing my body in the fucking Gulf of America, which, as you guys know, is what they call it now. If I get killed, I'm not, and that's the thing is like this is my craziest take so far. Are you ready? Charlie Kirk was not killed by Mossad or Israel or even a 4chan incel. Charlie Kirk was killed by none other than J.D. Vance so that J.D. Vance could take over his podcast. This is the new, you know what we need? You know Succession? Succession is a great show about like corporate drama and the usurping of power in corporate America. Great show. What we need is another show, like a House of Cards style show, except it's about podcast hosts, like usurping each other. Because that's what this is. There's nothing, and the reason everything is podcasts is because nothing is more important than getting in someone's ear and getting in someone's head and because you can change their hearts and their minds if you have their ears. And that is a weapon. And that is why J.D. Vance is hosting this podcast. That is why the vice president of the United States is hosting a podcast. He's hosting a podcast. Remember podcasting like 10 years ago? Even 5 years ago, podcasting was like this stupid bullshit thing. This niche industry where people would just like riff and bullshit. And now it's become the fourth arm of the state. Podcasting has become, and that's not even the right word. Podcasting is almost the wrong word to use. We need to abstract it, and it's messaging. It's digital messaging. It's political messaging. It's digitized political messaging. It's a digitized political propaganda. I'm talking about my show. What J.D. Vance is doing is the truth. I'm talking about my show. So so JD Vance took over Charlie's show. And not only that, but the second link there, this is JD Vance later in the show. JD Vance has said that he is encouraging people to call the employers of those who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now let's watch this, and then I'm going to provide my coverage. Because you can't fire me. You actually could. Please don't. Honestly, there's so many ads. This country's fucked. Just burn it all down. So many fucking...
United in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country. Now, our government, you heard me talk to Stephen Miller about this, will be working very hard to do exactly that in the months to come. We're not always going to get it right. We will sometimes move more slowly than you would like. We will sometimes move more slowly than I want us to. But I promise you that we will explore every option to bring real unity to our country and stop those who would kill their fellow Americans because they don't like what they say. But you have a role too. Civil society, Charlie understood this well, is not just something that flows from the government. It flows from each and every one of us. It flows from all of us. So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer. We don't believe in political violence, but we do believe in civility. And there is no civility in the celebration of political assassination. Get involved, get involved, get involved. It's the best way to honor Charlie's legacy. Start a chapter of TPUSA or get involved in the one that already exists. If you're older, volunteer for your local party, write an op-ed in your local paper, run for office. I can't promise you
run for office.
Gonna be easy. I can't promise you that all of us will avoid Charlie's fate.
Run for office.
I can't promise you that I will avoid Charlie's fate. But the way to honor him is to shine the light of truth like a torch in the very darkest places. Go do it. We owe it to our friend to ensure that his killer is not just prosecuted but punished.
This is fucking
And the
scary.
worst punishment is not the death penalty, but the knowledge that Charlie's mission continues after he's gone.
I have to tell you directly in person.
Well, that was certainly a video. That was certainly, that's one way. That's one way that's something to say about his death. I mean, to encourage, the energy, it's giving youth pastor. Is it not giving youth pastor? Get involved, get involved, get involved. He goes, get involved. What is getting involved? Hold on. This is why you guys watch the show, okay? What does JD Vance want you to do? He wants you to get involved. And how does he want you to get involved and help the legacy of Charlie Kirk? He wants you to find social media posts, screenshot them, and then email the screenshots of those posts to that person's employer. That's how he wants you to get involved, is he wants you to try to get people fired for voicing their opinion. So the way that Charlie Kirk's legacy should be honored is that you attempt to enact and inflict consequences on people that are also exercising their free speech. That's how we honor a guy who was purportedly so down with the freedom of expression, is that we want to inflict consequences on those who are merely doing the exact same thing Charlie was. That's what JD Vance wants you to do. Also, he told you to run for office. What do you run for office? This is the mentality of a delusional, power-hungry psychopath. Is he's like, oh, you want your life to be better? Just run for office. Not everyone can be in the government, JD Vance. Hey, JD Vance, not everyone wants to be on their city council HOA. Hey, JD Vance, not everyone needs to be and I'm telling you, this is a sign that we are plunging into fascism, is because he is encouraging you to join the government. So the way to make your life better is to be on their side. Literally join the government. And not cancel. And here's the thing. It's to encourage people to encourage people to find those who celebrate his death and get those people fired because of what they say. It's pussy shit. And you know what? At this point, the economy is so fucked. If you talk some shit about Charlie Kirk and then you end up getting fired or put on like a list, you just gotta own it. You just gotta own it. And like, look, I really want to emphasize that we cannot let it be lost on us that all of the people in the Trump administration are mourning this guy's death because they are, saddened that someone would be shot and killed for their opinions. Meanwhile, that same government is deporting and violating the rights of people based on their race. Okay? Last episode, we talked about the racial profiling of the Supreme Court passed a law where it's just, you can just racially profile someone now and ask for their papers. So simultaneously, you can't have it both ways. You cannot be the party of unity and liberty and rights and be like, hey, now, you can't, if you're celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, you don't believe in liberty. Oh yeah? You don't believe in liberty either, asshole. You guys passed a law that says that you can just violate someone's rights based on the way they look at scale. You codified it. You codified racially profiling people in the law. At scale, you codified that. You have a system, you systematically codified that. And you want to lecture the public about what we're allowed to say and what we're not allowed to say? So let's just make it clear. Let's make it clear. I celebrated the United Healthcare CEO getting shot. I was dancing in the street when the Blackstone executive was and again, you reap what you sow. Truly, I do believe you reap what you sow. So I want to be careful about what I'm sowing. The United Healthcare CEO. And again, okay, here's sorry, I'm all, forgive me guys, I'm all over the place today because this is very chaotic. This is very hard to even talk about. There's a difference, I think, between celebrating someone's death and being like, yes! Yeah! Yeah! No one is doing that! Hey guys, look, everyone on the right that's like mourning Charlie's death, they think, because of Fox News and everyone and JD Vance, they think that everyone on the left is like saw the video of Charlie Kirk getting shot. They think that the left is like, oh yes, yes. That's not what they're, guys. I don't know. I live in fucking Brooklyn. I did not see people dancing in the street. There is a video of one woman doing that, but that is not representative of the left right now. Yeah.
There's a picture of this dude when it happened. The dude turned around and was like,
yes,
as it was happening.
Well, he was doing black power.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. This is such a white person. This is a white story. Can I say that? I'm going to be racist. I don't care. This is a white story. Like, yeah, that guy he was like, yes. Like, but like, again, here's the really ground truth that I want to get everyone. Here's what we can all agree on this. Truly, I want to unify everyone. If I've said some shit so far that you disagree with, let me just recenter and unify everyone. We can all agree on this ground truth. Sociopaths, psychopaths exist, and we can agree on that. And I'm going to argue that they exist in every single subculture. Every single group has a sociopath. Every single group, Turning Point USA has psychopaths. There's also probably some reasonable people that have just been brainwashed that are in TPUSA. If you're a 14-year-old white kid in Utah, you may be going to a TPUSA meeting against your own will or because you were coerced by your friends and you grew up conservative. I'm not saying that outright. And then, maybe you're 17, 18, 19 years old and you're a conservative because that's how you grew up. I grew up in the Bay Area and I'm a liberal, probably in part because I grew up in a liberal area. I'm not immune to no one is immune to their environment. And your environment influences how you consciously and subconsciously interpret the world. Okay? But like this idea that like most people are not celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. They are simply not mourning him as dramatically as people on the right. And the reason that they're not mourning him as dramatically is because of the things that he said. And it's that simple. Charlie Kirk said things that are and let's not forget who this guy was. This guy Charlie, like this idea that Charlie Kirk was like this intelligent, visionary thinker, he quoted the Bible. Did he not like quote the Bible? Did he not anyone in 2025 that Charlie Kirk literally was like a guy who's like faith. He was like a faith guy. He was like, people, can we look up Charlie Kirk, Jesus Christ? Because I want people to I want you guys to understand, I followed this guy, I saw his clips. Let's just hear what he has to say. I'm not even trying to be biased here. Let's just watch the first video that we see. Charlie Kirk, Jesus Christ. Because I want to see, look, I just want to make fun of him. I want to make fun of him because he believed in Jesus. This is just a random video that we pulled up about, this is not premeditated, random video about Jesus.
You would say that Jesus is here to save us. Save us from what?
Ourselves. We're dead people walking.
Okay, so you have to tell people about the death first, right?
You're very good at your job. You're very good at your job.
Welcome aboard. In this episode, Charlie Kirk joins George Janko's podcast to share his powerful journey to Christ. Together, they dive into the difference between the modern gospel often preached today and the true gospel.
All right, that's enough, honestly. Charlie Kirk preached the gospel. I think that's fair to say that he believed in Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is a myth. I promise you that I'm not this I promise you, I'm not this like pussy leftist shill. I'm a little bit of a capitalist, but one thing about me, I try to keep it real, and believing that maybe Charlie Kirk will be resurrected. You know, maybe like people are almost comparing Charlie Kirk to Jesus Christ. People are comparing Charlie Kirk to MLK Jr. People are saying that Charlie Kirk was the civil rights activist of our day, of our era. He was not that. I don't think that Charlie Kirk, in fact, Charlie Kirk said that the civil rights bill was a mistake. And now we're comparing him to Martin Luther King, who was not perfect, but they're not comparable, okay? They're not comparable. The only thing that MLK Jr. and Charlie Kirk have in common is they were both killed by Israel. Okay? And the FBI. The Palantir nanobots are killing me, guys. I'm sorry. The nanobots from Palantir. So, I don't know, guys. I think it's Jesus Christ. Like, let's go back to the list of stories. There's so much to like discuss on this. Oh, okay. We have to do this. So, the Utah governor. Can we do that one? This was crazy. The Utah. One benefit of this is that we all got to learn how crazy the governor of Utah is, which is not a surprise to me. Let's pull this video up. This is the Utah governor's statement after his death and after they had apprehended Tyler Robinson, who was the groyper that allegedly shot him.
Today on the show.
It was the
for 33 hours.
This is the Utah governor, ladies and gentlemen.
I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I had hoped for. For 33 hours, I was.
Here's what he did. He goes up there in his suit and he goes, for 33 hours, I was just praying that it was going to be an immigrant. I was just praying to God. I was praying to John Adams, not John Adams. Who's the Mormon guy, the Mormon Jesus? I'm really not smart enough to do this. My references are not hitting today. What's his name? Joseph Smith. He goes, the Utah governor, he goes, you know, I was praying to at the altar of Joseph Smith, and I was going, Joseph, who's actually my cousin, Joseph Smith. I was going, Joseph, please let it be an Arab. Let it be an Arab that killed Charlie. Oh, Lord in heaven, Joseph Smith, hear my prayers. Please let it be an Arab. Please let it be a Mexican that killed Charlie. Not one of our own. Not one of our own. And you know what? It actually wasn't one of your own. Unless you call yourself a 4chan incel. But it was in fact, I have a little bit of, and if this makes me, I was actually about to use the word sympathy, which I guess does make me a terrorist sympathizer. Maybe I am a little bit of a terrorist sympathizer, if that's the word you want to use. But if I'm just going to say this doesn't make me a terrorist sympathizer. But if I was a young guy in Utah, I'd probably end up on 4chan. There's nothing else to do. Have you been to fucking Utah? You go into the woods. You climb a mountain. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else to do but go on 4chan and get psyoped. There's really nothing else to do in Utah except play Minecraft, get on Discord, and get psyoped into being an incel psycho. That's Utah. You know who I blame on Charlie Kirk's assassination? I place the blame on Utah. Utah is the official worst state in the union. And if you guys had more comedy clubs, maybe this guy wouldn't have done this. Maybe if this guy had gone to seanreillycomedy.com and bought tickets to see me in Salt Lake City, maybe he wouldn't have done this, okay? It's just a really... a lot of people these days are saying the quiet part out loud. A lot of politicians, J.D. Vance, the Utah governor, they're out there and they're literally saying, like, it's too bad it wasn't an immigrant. Bro, that's what you save for the bar. That's what you save for when you're at the politician's bar in Salt Lake, or when you're in the Capitol building, or when you're in the Uber home from the Capitol building in Utah. That is when you say, hey, if only I just wish it was an Arab. That's when you say that. Now they're even feeling comfortable enough to say it in the fucking open. So what does this really mean? I mean, what does this actually mean? You know, does this mean that everyone that followed Charlie Kirk is going to drift further to the right and get on board and join the Groyper army? Does it mean that there's going to now be 1,000 Charlie Kirks? I don't think so. Not with his numbers. Charlie Kirk had excellent podcast numbers. Can I do a quick eulogy to him? I want to do a eulogy to Charlie because, truly, like, he deserves a eulogy. Charlie Kirk was the founder of Turning Point USA, which is an organization where many people found their wives and their husbands. A lot of people that wanted to marry within their race found their wives and their husbands. A lot of people were influenced by Charlie, and they were influenced by his message of hope and dissent. A lot of people that were university students that may have been afraid to raise their hand in class and stand up to a leftist professor found an outlet in Charlie Kirk's message. So many people that wanted to raise their hand in socioeconomics 208 and go, Professor, when I'm on a plane and it's a black pilot, I shit my fucking pants. A lot of people that wanted to say that found an outlet with Charlie Kirk. A lot of people found catharsis. A lot of people found hope and freedom with Charlie's message and his being cut down by a Groyper. By a Groyper is an utter tragedy. And those who seek to celebrate his death, what I want you to do, I want you to find those people and I want you to call their mommies. And I want you to call their employers. Because civility is the most important thing. If there's anything that we believe on the right, it's civility. Civility and tiki torches and throwing rocks through the White House building and the Capitol building. If there's anything that we believe in, it's celebrating when Paul Pelosi gets attacked with an axe in his home. And that's crazy. And that's where, you know what? I think I figured it out. Here's where I want to be very fair and balanced. I think that celebrating death, celebrating death is inhumane. Celebrating death, and again, there's nuance. This is all about, it's all nuance. You have to look at it case by case. Celebrating Adolf Hitler's death is acceptable. I mean, that's maybe that's even crazy now. Maybe now, honestly, in today's political climate, me saying that, like, bro, you're fucking inhumane. It's like, what? I'm inhumane. Like, literally, if you're like celebrating Adolf, like people, they go, dude, celebrating someone's death just makes you inhumane and you're sick. I'll be like, what about Adolf Hitler? Can I celebrate his death? They'll be like, dude, that guy was just a German politician. That's what they'll say. You'll be like, oh yeah, I can't celebrate death. Can I celebrate Hitler's death? They'll be like, bro, you're gonna celebrate that guy's death? He was just a German politician trying to make things better for people. Like that's where we're at. Is like, I'm like, okay. They're like, bro, like, have you actually listened to his speeches? No, well, yes, I have. But like in AI, I've listened to the AI English version of his speeches for educational purposes. You go, can I celebrate Hitler's death? Bro, that guy was just a human being. So wait, so let me get this straight. You're a sick man. You want to celebrate Hitler's death? That guy was a human being with a family. Hey, blowing a load into a woman doesn't make you immune from criticism. Is that crazy? Is it really that am I inhumane for saying that just because you have a wife and kids doesn't mean you're immune from critical analysis? I'm sorry. That doesn't make you, having loved ones doesn't insulate you from consequences. Again, for the record, I'm not celebrating Charlie Kirk's death by going like, yes, dude, fuck yes. That's not what I'm doing. I think that is mental illness. That, and again, I'm trying to keep it real. There are people on the left, some very small amount of people on the left that are doing that. I happen to think that is mental illness. Seeing a guy, and I'm talking specifically about Charlie. Seeing Charlie Kirk, that guy who's lived that life, get shot in the neck and his carotid artery spills blood on the fucking floor and he dies in front of you. Seeing that and being like, yes, that is mental illness. If that happens to Adolf Hitler, then it's okay to do it because he committed a genocide. And here's where it gets tricky, is that Charlie Kirk supported a genocide. So where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line for when it's okay to celebrate someone's death? I don't know. That's for you to decide. That's for every one of us to decide, right? But one thing about me is when people die, I'm about to joke about it. And that's for everyone on both sides of the aisle. It doesn't mean I'm celebrating it, but it doesn't mean that we should not joke about it, okay? So Paul Pelosi, he was attacked with an axe. That's a Democratic, I'm proving to you guys that I'm not a shill. When Democrats get attacked, I'm joking about it. When executives get attacked and killed, I'm joking about it. When pundits on the right get killed, I'm going to make jokes about it. Does it mean that I condone what they do? And does it mean that I condone political violence in general? No, it doesn't. But we have to joke about this. And, you know, we have a quick, with that, I just want to go to a quick sponsor. I have to do an ad read, so please stick around. Sean's Show is sponsored by Etsy. Do you have someone that you want to curse or hex? Maybe a politician. Maybe you have an ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend that's wronged you. Go to etsy.com/witches of Etsy, and you can buy a hex or curse for as little as $1.99 per hex. Would you like to hex? The results may vary. Results may vary wildly. Results may vary wildly. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that ad read, guys. Can we go back to the list of news? I mean, I know we're spending a lot of time on this, you guys, but there's so much. So we I think we pretty much covered every aspect of this story. Okay, so let's do the very last one. Charlie was talking about Israel before his death, and I want to okay, yeah. So before we play this video, Charlie Kirk was actually starting to. So Charlie Kirk before his death was talking about October 7th. And one of the things that on the video, on an interview that he has said, was that which is crazy to hear a guy like Charlie Kirk say this, is that Charlie Kirk said that it's not a conspiracy to suggest that the Israel government issued a stand down order on the Hamas terrorist attacks of October 7th. And to hear, so for a guy like Charlie Kirk to say that is crazy, because obviously every politician in America is owned by Israel, especially politicians on the right. So to have a guy as influential as Charlie Kirk suggesting that Israel told the IDF to say, hey, stand down because we want October 7th. Basically what Charlie Kirk is saying is that Israel, it was a false flag, that Israel allowed Hamas to do this as a pretext to then genocide Gaza. Charlie Kirk was saying that right before his death. And a lot of people are now seeing that and saying, then he got shot. And a lot of people are going, maybe Israel was involved. And so this video is of Marco Rubio with Benjamin Netanyahu. And let's just take a look. This is Marco Rubio eulogizing Charlie. Next to the guy that ordered the hit. It's Marco Rubio going, it's really sad. Before we even play the video, if you're just listening, this is Marco Rubio and Benjamin Netanyahu. And Marco Rubio is basically going to be like, it's just really sad that Charlie was murdered by an Arab trans immigrant. And then Benjamin Netanyahu is like, yeah. Yeah, that's bad. Let's watch.
Points on, I think it's horrifying to see any human being executed before the entire world because of social media. It was a particularly difficult week this week in the White House and in Washington because Charlie Kirk wasn't just someone who supported the president. He wasn't just someone that we were aware of. He was a personal friend to a lot of people in that White House. The president, to the vice president, to multiple people. It was a combination, political assassination, but also death in the family type event. And it was shocking to a lot of people to see. Apart from the tragedy of it for him and for his family and for the nation, really, is the irony. Charlie was one of the few people out there that was actually engaging what we need more of. And that is debate and conversation among people with strong disagreements. People know Charlie Kirk because of his role.
So Marco Rubio goes, the irony of it is that Charlie Kirk was engaging in something that we need more of, which is dunking on those liberal pussies. Dunking on those liberal pussies on camera. Is Charlie Kirk going, actually, They just killed the Well Actually guy. But Marco Rubio is talking about how Charlie, it's a tragedy, blah, blah, blah. And then, this is not in this video, but what really, it's just awkward because Marco Rubio's like, hey, Netanyahu, you got anything to add? Yeah, Charlie, he crossed us. Marco Rubio's like, it's so sad that this... Also, he goes, Charlie Kirk was killed because of social media? No, he was killed by a nihilist groiper. I want Marco Rubio to use the words nihilist groiper, which sounds like I'm a racial slur, but it's great. Nihilist... Charlie Kirk was murdered by a nihilist groiper that was psyoped by Israel. Do you want the truth? You can't handle the truth. I'm going to be that guy, the Big Lebowski character. I already forgot his name. I need like a prop gun. You want the fucking truth? You can't handle the fucking... Well, that's what we need. We need a guy that guy from the Big Lebowski, bring him into the real world, get him on a show, get him on Charlie Kirk's show, shoot a fucking gun in the air, be like, you want the fucking truth? Charlie Kirk was killed by a nihilist groiper that was silenced by Israel on 4chan. That will get everyone aligned. That will get everyone aligned. Okay? Marco Rubio's like, let me pass it off to Benjamin. I mean, yes, he crossed us. I don't know. He said that there was a stand down order on October 7th. That's why we had to kill him. Okay? So that is, guys, that's the rub on that. I hope that was enough coverage for the 5 of you that listen to this show. I'm exhausted. And I guess we'll wrap with this is like, I'm exhausted. I'm truly like exhausted by like this story. I'm exhausted by the internet. And that would be my recommendation for everyone. It's just like, if you're exhausted by all this crap, just get off your phone, dude. You got to get off your phone after you watch the show and review us on Spotify. Get off your phone. Once you've watched all the episodes, watch our entire backlog of episodes, and then get off your phone after you've liked and followed on Instagram and commented on the YouTube video. Get off your phone and just remember, like, engage with your community. Why don't you go start a political act? You know what you should do? Here's my advice for you. Run for office. Just run for office. You know what you should do? If your life sucks, get out there. Get involved. Find these people that celebrated Charlie's death and get them fired. You want to help America? Do you want to unify this country? What I want you to do is go on Instagram. Find a random person that said that Charlie Kirk was a racist. Find out where that... I want you to investigate. What I want you to do is I want you to investigate the lives of strangers. Investigate them as if you are in law enforcement. I want you to email their employer, which is probably like Sonic. You know what I want to know? I want to know like how many emails are like Burger King managers getting, and they're actually like agreeing with like, you know what? You know what this is? This is literally like it's giving like Karen. This is literally like, I want to speak to your manager. That's what this is. This whole thing about like, if you criticize Charlie Kirk, I'm going to get you fired. You're being a Karen. You're literally being a Karen. You're like, well, let me talk to your manager. Because I don't like what you're doing. Let me talk to your manager. Okay. Wait a minute. So you're going to email the Burger King general manager and try to get the fry cook fired? Guess what? The Burger King general manager is the next guy who's going to assassinate the next commentator. People that are emailing the bosses, I'm going to email your boss. Those bosses they feel the exact same fucking way as the fucking employees. Okay? So you know, that's where that's where we're at. I mean, I think that this is like again, we are such a divided country, and if nothing else, I hope that at the end of this show, you feel more divided and you feel more hate. That's kind of the goal. The goal of my show has always been to sow discord and hate and division. And so when you walk down the street, I want you to look at other people and think, that guy probably fucking hates me and wants to kill me. That's what I want you to think. Okay? Because I am, of course, a Republican. I'm a secret Republican. This show has always been an Israeli psyop. The best Israeli psyop is the one that you don't even know is a psyop. Okay? You think this knows? Come on. Don't be stupid. All right, guys. We did an extra long one for you today because I love you. seanreillycomedy.com. I am a comedian, believe it or not. I'm not just a talking head asshole. And I do stand-up comedy live, and it's a lot of fun. So come see me in Austin and Dallas. And hopefully I'll line up a show in Utah. Maybe I'll do a show at UVU coming up. And, do all the things to help grow the show. Tell your friend about the show if you think that they might like it. And, again, email me, seanreillycomedy.com, seanreillycomedy@gmail.com if you want me to give you career advice. I don't want this to just be about the news because I don't like just a news show. I want it to be fun. So email me and I'll give you career advice. And in conclusion, run for office. That's what I want you to do. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.